Welcome back, everyone. Going into the second half here of week, whatever it is, 171 or something like that. Let's start with what is the Cthulhu game? Is the Call of Cthulhu? Is that accurate?
It's Call of Cthulhu, the video game.
Yeah, Call of Cthulhu, the video game.
Okay, let's start with that because I know you guys have both played that, and then we'll jump into some Red Dead. So, Co's finished it. Zeke, did you not yet? You have not finished it? You're Zeking it?
Take Co's playtime and double it, and then maybe sprinkle on a couple more hours.
Okay.
Well, it's because I treat a lot of video games like this. I do a lot of looking around, but I also do a lot of chatting because there's a lot of searching around and that kind of stuff in between dialogue and cinematic shit. But also, I treat it kind of like a mystery science theater thing where I just point out stupid shit and I try and make people laugh and that kind of thing. So,
Gotcha.
A lot of dicking around.
All right, well, let's do this. We're going to do a new review process here on the show. I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, and then you guys are both going to say one word about the game so that there's no mixed opinions here. All right?
About Red Dead?
No. What? No.
Oh.
About fucking Call of Cthulhu. You ready? Here we go. I'm going to go 3, 2, 1 now. You guys say it on now, just so there's no... Okay. 3, 2, 1, now.
Tentacles.
Lovecraftian.
Okay. Lovecraftian tentacles. Great. That's the review. Call of Cthulhu. Or Cthulhu. That's it.
Call of Cthulhu.
Call of Cthulhu. Cthulhu.
Like a mouse sneezing.
Call of Cthulhu.
All right. Is it good? What do you guys think? Yes or no? Thoughts? What do you guys like about it?
So, I have finished the game, and this is here's where we are. This is not a AAA game, so don't approach it as such. Like the lip syncing is kind of a mess. Some of the voice acting is hit and miss. There's some entire mechanics that are just kind of like not super engaging. But here, I'll TLDR my sum up real quick. It's a fun game. It's a fun world to explore. There are definitely some scares, but it's more about the entire game being kind of like unsettling and immersive. If you've played older Call of Cthulhu games, none of which have been kind of famously very good, this one does have some of the same kind of campy tropes that a lot of these types of games have. But I will say that if you are a fan of Cthulian, Lovecraftian style kind of occultism, this game does a very good job at kind of like creating this little cult-filled world. There were many times that I was very interested in what I was doing. Even halfway, 75% of the game, I'd get to a location and be like, "Oh, let's see what this is." It was a fun little short jaunt through kind of a Lovecraftian atmosphere. And if I think real fans of that kind of stuff will probably enjoy this. They'll kind of be able to kind of like see the forest through the trees and kind of like let some of that obvious, not AAA stuff go. Like especially towards the end, there's just some mechanics that are just kind of like slightly laughable. But I think that, it was fun. If you don't take it too seriously, it's pretty entertaining. And without talking too much about the finale, there are relatively significant different ways you can take it. And there's even some stuff that I couldn't do that apparently was influenced by some decisions I'd made through the story, which is kind of interesting. So maybe even a little bit of replayability. But all this being said, probably not the $45 price tag. It's definitely the kind of thing that again, it's only like 8 hours, so it's real. Like if you're going to pay $45 for 8 hours, it's gotta be a damn good 8 hours in my opinion. Like you really it's gotta deliver. I don't really feel like, I think this would have been a great like $29.99, maybe even $19.99 game,
Yeah.
So it's definitely an on sale thing for me, but it is a play. Like it's not a skip it for me. Especially if you are a fan of Cthulhu and that kind of stuff. It's the best Call of Cthulhu made, that's for sure. It's not a mess like the last ones. It's an actual game, which is pretty awesome. Like I tried to stream the latest Cthulhu before this, I think a Halloween a couple years back. I couldn't even get through it. A 10-plus-year-old game, and it was still so buggy that that I couldn't even finish it. This had nothing like that. It was also, thankfully, was relatively bug-free. outside of the only glaring omission, which is an extremely zoomed in FOV at the beginning with no FOV side. That was rather bad. You can, however, add a few lines to an INI and get that cleaned up pretty quickly. And you can see Zeke definitely used the FOV fix, I'm assuming, right, bud? Yeah.
But I put that bad boy at 65. I don't usually like doing that because I'd rather be a little bit too close and have the fisheye effect, but for this game you kind of need it. And that's fucking so stupid. Why just put a fucking slider in there? Come on. I mean, Total Biscuit would be outraged.
Yeah, don't tell Total Biscuit about Fallout 76, by the way. Same issue. But anyway, yeah. But the thing is, and the biggest kind of glaring issue with the FOV in this game is there's different ways you can do force perspective FOV. One of them is just by zooming in a normal FOV, which makes it so like when you move around, it's like a relatively parked rectangle. And then the other ways to do it are like if you're in a globe and it's like the rounded version. So it's like when you move around, it's like you're even more zoomed in and it almost feels like you have like that little bit of mouse acceleration. That's the kind this one has.
Oh, God.
So it felt like when you're in like the default FOV, man, it feels real janky. It's like you're walking around in a bubble and your screen is like on the surface of the bubble. So it's like it's like, yeah, it's very strange. I really did. What was really unfortunate is when I started up and played it for about 5 minutes, I quit out and said, if I can't find an FOV fix to this, I'm not playing this. Like it was that bad. It was making me like uncomfortable.
I'm gonna search for the footage of the bad FOV real quick.
With the FOV fixed, it was fine. And I think Zeke said yours was at 65.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine was at I think 72, maybe 70 or 72, and it was fine. Like zero. Once you get your FOV fixed, like zero issues. So
yeah. Well, if the thing with this game, if you're gonna pay $45 or whatever like that around that for a game like this that's short, like I would expect like the graphics to be just mind-blowing or the facial animations to be just like super great. And the facial animations are kind of hilarious. It's a lot of Muppet like like a lot of that shit. Just like the lower jaw moving. And I was just like, oh man, come on. I paid a good bit of money for this. I mean,
I'd like to apologize to Zeke for ruining the rest of his playthrough, as well as anyone else watching. But once you actually clue in to the fact that the lead chief guy sounds very slightly like Chief Wiggum from The Simpsons, you can never unhear it, and the whole thing just becomes ridiculous. Because then he starts like saying I can't do the voice, but he starts saying things that would be kind of Wiggum-esque, and you're just like. But it's in a serious tone. So like you're listening and you're just like, oh, that guy died, huh? It's like it becomes this really unfortunate like dichotomy between deadly serious and Wiggum.
Wait, there's
only true nerds will get this, but there's a guy, I think he's oh God, I can't remember what his role in it is, but he's like he's an old guy that you meet after you go to the bar. You meet him later. What's his role?
Oh,
like to start off with the harbor master. There you go. Only true nerds of Transformers know this, but he sounds just like Cup from Transformers, the cartoon movie. The old guy is like, "Oh, you turbo revving young punk, I'll get you yet." Like that guy just sounds just like that guy.
Nice.
Wow. That's an impressive.
You just reminded me of it.
I need to go watch that movie again now.
Have you seen that movie in like the last 20 years?
Yeah, I saw it like not a month ago because it was a special edition for the Bumblebee movie. They were like, we're going to release the 1984 movie in theaters for one night only. And I was like, fuck yeah. It's like my favorite movie of all time. Like it's tied for first with The Godfather as my favorite movie. I've seen that movie 50, 60 times.
So what you're saying is if I've seen Transformers and I've never seen Godfather, which I haven't, I don't need to watch Godfather, right? Because it's the same movie?
No, it's the reason why they're tied is because it's hard to differentiate them because one my heart loves and one my mind loves.
Okay, understood. I got you. Zeke, what are your thoughts on this game overall? I was not. The graphics actually look pretty good. Like that. Those look
No,
like
the
good
cinematics
models.
are great.
Yeah.
The cinematics are great. Once you get out of the cinematics, though, it starts getting a little blocky. What do I think of it? I'm enjoying it. It's just the price. Like, it's a bit too much for what you get. However, if this was like maybe a $30 game, totally worth it. Totally worth it. And I've only played like 6 hours so far. It's the atmosphere is great. The voice acting is usually pretty good. The music is really atmospheric and immersive as well. The environments are exactly what you expect. Dark. There's lots of greens, lots of dankness, a lot of wet sounds, and that kind of stuff. Which that's Cthulhu all over. But
Yeah.
and that other than the price, I think it's a decent game so far.
It's also important to mention that first of all, the entire every character is voice acted, so you'll always be doing that. Also, there are pretty extensive dialogue options. In many cases, you'll get to a situation talking to a person where you'll have like 4 options, but they're all conversation enders. So like it actually matters like which one you're gonna pick and what you're gonna say to them. It's also important to mention, like I was going back to kind of the Lovecraftian lore junkies. Like almost any time you find an artifact, you can rotate around it in 3D space, and then any like clue and thing you find then gets stored in a section of your UI in your inventory that you can then go back and look at it again, and you can like read little blurbs. Like it does a good job at developing the world. It clearly is focused towards people that really eat this lore up. It's kind of like I really feel like it's a game like made for those types of fans, and that's kind of its saving grace, because I think those are the people that are really going to enjoy it, and probably the target audience that's going to be buying most of it at $45.
Right.
Well, and people, if you don't know, like this is the progenitor kind of thing of this style. So if you look at it, it's like, oh, why is everything's got to be so dark? Well, this was like the Lovecraftian shit that people point to to other games, go, oh, it's really Lovecraftian. Meaning, like Darkest Dungeon is a good example. It's like a lot of Lovecraftian references and homages and whatever you want to call them in that game, because this kind of thing was the like first of that.
Okay. I don't think either of you have said otherwise. Is it scary at all? Is it like undertone scary? Is there like jump scares? Like what?
There are jump scares.
Okay.
But they're few and far between. And I'd say it's much more about the setting and the immersion. So it's more meant to unsettle you and make you uncomfortable. It's not really meant to like get that little cheap jump scare in every opportunity it gets. There's the amount of jump scares in the game I could probably count on one hand, and they're all relatively mundane. Like, it's not like the game like sets you up to be scared by, a big cumulative event. It's kind of like, you're walking through a hallway and all of a sudden like a dude reaches out of the door and, stuff like that. Just like little flavor things to kind of like help you on the journey. But really you can tell through the levels, like they're designed they're very well detailed. You walk through a hospital, every bed looks different. They all have like different types of bandages and bloody things around. And you walk into the bathroom and, it looks completely unique. Like it's designed for realism and that real kind of like unsettling feeling.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a difference between going through like a house of horrors and going to like a freak show. It's like one is meant to scare you, the other one is meant to disturb you. And that's kind of what this is.
And, you're visiting places like, abandoned insane asylums, mansions that were burned up that families were killed in, sewers and cult areas. Like it's every place you go to in this game is kind of like dilapidated, broken down, dark. It fits the Lovecraftian for sure. And here's a good example of the wheel. Like what's also really cool about this game is depending on how thorough you are, you will find clues, which will then unlock dialogue conversations. Also, it's important to mention, there's actually a full skill system in the game. So you have things like eloquence, psychology, strength, investigation skills, occultism level, medical level. And depending on what your level is in these skills, which you unlock gaining points or finding items throughout the story, that will let you do different dialogue options, interact with the world in different ways. So apparently there's some like special builds you can do. Like apparently I read something about like a doctor build where near the beginning of the game you get a pool of points that you can spend, and apparently if you like focus on one or two things, it can relatively dramatically change like the rest of the game and what options are available to you. I found, especially towards the beginning, that there was like the first 4 or 5 options I just couldn't do.
Huh.
And even towards the end of the game, like there were many things that were just grayed out or not available to me. And I'm kind of wondering, like how many playthroughs are expecting people to do, because I feel like it would have gone relatively differently. If I had, decided to go with one of these more specialized characters. I tried to keep it kind of broad, and I don't know if that was the best decision looking back. I think the game kind of expects you to focus a bit more than I did. So, something for your playthroughs.
Yeah. Well, cool. That's is this what is this available on? PC, Xbox,
All I
and
know is sure.
yeah. Do you know, Zeke, if it was on any other platforms? Okay.
No.
Gotcha. It
Hold on. Let me go ahead and Google that for you.
Yeah, Google it for me.
Let's
Do some Googling.
Call
Do the old Google.
of Cthulhu game.
That's what I do for most of the questions that JP asks. PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Okay, it's on everything.
And Switch.
Cool.
And
All right. Cool. Well, that's that. Cody, did you jump into Fallout 76 on PC last night at all?
Not yet. Next tomorrow is going to be the first time that I'm checking out 76. Unfortunately, I hate to say it though, I have been looking into some 76 stuff, and there are some big name folks, a few of them that were actually like very excited for 76 that have put up some relatively scathing issues with it. And apparently, I hate to say this, like a lot of the issues seem to be technical.
Ooh.
Like a lot of them.
It's
like
a
it's
Bethesda
not running.
game.
True, but I mean, like, here's the thing: it's a Bethesda game in an engine that they already just got done with Fallout 4. Like, there's like a lot of reasons that apparently shouldn't be as bad as it is. Now, am I still going to enjoy it? Absolutely, because I can put bugs at the side and I'm playing it to explore the world and look around and have a good time. Like, I'm going to have fun with the game because I'm that weird guy that pretty much always has fun with games if he likes the subject matter. But is it going to be the kind of thing where even when I'm done with it, I'll be able to like good conscience recommend it to people? I don't know. It might be a Pathfinder for me, where it's the kind of thing where I had a great time playing it, and sure, maybe even some folks like watching it, but I can't recommend Pathfinder to anyone in its current state. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that with 76. It is running horribly shitty on high-end systems. It is laggy to the point where, like, apparently the enemies exist on the net. They don't exist locally. So apparently there's tons of bugs with them getting stuck on stuff, warping around. Player interactions apparently very loose. So you can be shooting at someone like 30 times and they can just turn around and like two-shot you. Turrets and house items aren't working properly.
Jesus.
Crashing. The launcher messed up. Like, oh man, it's just like it's not looking good, dude. It's not looking good.
Because I watched
14 days to fix it.
Jesus, yeah. I watched Shroud for 5 minutes last night. It was
Up a V slider.
Yeah, it was solid 120 FPS. Seems like everything was working. So I don't know if he just got lucky or
I don't know, dude. Even the guy reviewing it. In fact, one of the people I watched this morning, and keep in mind, this guy, he's a reputable dude, but his do not buy movie, which is essentially what it is like 80% technical and 20% preference. But his name is Skill Up.
Okay.
And he put out a video where he basically just like tears it apart.
Damn.
And then even the stuff that he like he had reasons to kind of rip into as well. It was not very positive. But again, I'm not concerned about this game for me. I'm sure I'll love it. But it's more like the broad populace. And more importantly, I hate to say it, but like future Fallouts, I really hope Bethesda is not looking at 76 and like basing future Fallout projects on it, because it's already pretty clear it's going to be problematic.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say in the 5 minutes that I did watch Shroud play, they were like going down a main mission path and like following the quest and all that stuff. So for that aspect, I think it has everything that you want, particularly. But
well, and the things that are making me really worried are like it's becoming more and more clear that they have little to no thought in the PvP system.
right.
Like if you engage someone if someone comes up to me and starts shooting at me, it doesn't do a lot of damage until I fire back, right? That's kind of cool. But unless I just want to be constantly annoyed by someone shooting at me, I'm going to try to kill them. Well, here's where it gets messed up. if someone shoots at me and it doesn't do damage, and then I shoot at them and then activate like PvP mode, if I then kill him, he can do something called revenging, which is apparently when he pops up in a random area right next to me, and then he can run back and kill me. And then if he does that, I can then revenge him.
What? So,
And it's like, then if I
hold on.
kill him, he can then revenge me again. And what's even stranger is apparently like if you get killed multiple, if that dude comes up and engages me and I kill him, then he revenges and pops up next to me and runs up to me again, and I kill him a second time, he can just keep revenging. So it's kind of like this thing where it's like, are you just looking for ways to allow people to grief players? Because that's how you let people grief players. There's no way to kill them. It's like you're fighting one person that just has a health bar that never drops, and every so often he blinks around.
Man,
It's strange. Like it's really, really strange, and it makes me wonder, like what were they thinking with this system?
Isn't the other thing too that people always show on your map, so you can always know if you're gonna get revenged because you'll just see them pop up on your map?
I think there's some delimiters to like how that works, but to be honest, I mean, I don't know. I haven't played it yet. When I'm gonna play, I think the beta opens up tomorrow at 2. So I'm hoping to give it like a couple hours so I can answer these questions. But yeah, it's just, I really wish for just a single checkbox that's single player mode. Like it's weird. I have zero interest right now in the multiplayer version. And if I was going to play multiplayer, I'd want it to be me, my mods, and my subs versus the world. I don't necessarily want to like fight a bunch of random griefers. And also lots of reports of people just running around with open mics saying obscene things, screaming at the top of their lungs, and people not being able to quickly ignore them.
That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Man, okay. Well,
something else.
So you're gonna are you playing during like the beta hours or whatever tomorrow? Is that what you said?
I have to.
You have to? Okay.
I think the beta tomorrow starts at 2 p.m. EDT, so that's probably when I'm gonna jump in.
Okay, cool. Gotcha. Yeah. I hope all that stuff.
Oh, okay. That's saying you can just turn off the voice, but I mean that's not necessarily what I want to do.
Yeah,
like
that's
you know,
a bad fix.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
So,
I'm curious to hear what your reports on it next week.
The one little bit of shining light is Bethesda has kind of publicly stated that they are reading reviews, they're looking at previews, they're going to do what they can to fix the major issues. But of course, again, it's 2 weeks. I'm starting to wonder if, like, in the back of their head, they're kind of releasing this as kind of an early access kind of thing, and then planning on like finishing the development as it goes on.
Yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see. All right. Well, let's talk some Red Dead. My thoughts on this will be very brief, only because I've put, how long is this VOD? I put about 5 hours into it. I feel like I can't actually like give a real opinion on this game because I'm barely like out of the snow area tutorial thing in the very beginning of the game. I feel like I haven't even touched the game. I can say it's very well made. It ran. I'm playing on an Xbox One X. It never really felt like it dipped FPS wise. It feels like there's a shit ton of stuff going on there. What's up?
Why are you playing it on Xbox?
Because it's the best way to play it. Apparently, is the Xbox One X.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, that's what everyone.
Well, I'm not. That wasn't meant to like shit on Xbox or anything. Pardon me.
But
no, the reason is because it's because we don't usually like it's either PlayStation or PC or all three of us.
Yeah.
So I was just curious, like, to the reason.
Yeah, the reason I'm playing it on Xbox is because it's not on PC. It's ultimate.
It's on PS3. It's on PS4 though, right?
Right. Yeah. I also prefer the
why.
Xbox controller, so it was like whatever. I've had this Xbox One X sitting here. I had to dust it off, but it works still. It's a functional thing. After I updated it for 2 hours or some fucking obscene number of updates because it's been that long since I turned it on.
It looks fucking gorgeous.
It does. That's it. Like, yes, there's multiple times in this game where I'm just like, I kind of just like sit back and like, this is a movie. This isn't a game, right? Like this, I'm not actually moving around in this thing. And sure, like, yeah, you are. It's very pretty game, without a doubt. That's why I'm curious to chat with Co, because like I've spent an hour and a half. I just killed my first legendary beast. Have you fought a boar? Or sorry, not a boar. I'm thinking Assassin's Creed. Have you fought a bear yet? Because that was terrifying. That was like the Revenant in video game form. It was legit terrifying, what they do in the bear fight. But that's all I've done in the game. So I'm curious what your thoughts on it. How many hours have you put into it now, Ko?
I actually did 5 hours from TwitchCon, and then I got back and restarted my playthrough, and then did another about 10 hours.
Okay. So you're not.
So I'm about 10 hours to one playthrough.
Okay, you're a little bit further than me then. What are your thoughts overall? How are you feeling about it?
My thoughts overall is I think Rockstar looked at Witcher 3 and said, we need to do our best to get one of those.
Yes.
I'm serious.
No,
This
right
game feels like what would happen if you took RDR1 and then you tried to make RDR1 as much of Witcher 3 as you possibly could. Now, I'm not saying they necessarily did that. I'm not like, I have in the past been like, this feels like Witcher 3 in the Wild West, but I wouldn't go that far. There are some rather significant differences. But it's very clear that like they've gone as like the arcadey movement style, and here we have this almost like marionette kind of like you tell him what to do and he kind of like slowly starts doing it more realistically. What are you doing to this poor guy?
This guy talks shit, so I had to lasso him.
But and I will say actually, to unfortunately the not so great is the Witcherizing of the world has led to like this kind of awkward control scheme sometimes, especially if you're like really close to items. Like if you push forward just a little too much and your character will like take a full step forward, and then you'll be on the other side of the thing on the ground you were trying to pick up, and then you turn around and he does like a full 180 step, which then puts him on the other side of the item you're trying to pick up. So you're like trying to like, and maybe I don't know if I doubt it's a PS4 Pro thing, but it's been pretty frustrating more than once. And they also kind of, I think, went a little bit over the top with the realism and like looting things. You open up a chest and there's like 5 things to loot, and each one of them is like a full load with an animation of him reaching down and picking it up. And it's kind of like, okay, I understand why you're doing this, but you really, really could have just like popped this in my inventory instead of me having to go around into a house and do this little looting animation for every single thing. My game isn't better because my character is doing that,
Right.
Like there's no development. So it's but outside of that, I mean, the world feels alive and verbose. Like every character, it's clip, dude. Every character is like
pissed me off. All right, I had to.
Yeah, it's like doing its thing. Tons of mechanics that all work well together. Tons of fleshed out systems. I mean, I made a joke about this, but I'll just say it, and I'm real about it. You can feel the 100-hour weeks in this game. Like this is a game designed to be a flagship game. It is designed to be a full top to bottom, relatively bug-free experience, and that's exactly what it is. My biggest concern for me personally is I'm a little bit worried I'm going to lose interest in this game. And it's not because the game isn't great. It's just because everything in this game is the human element. It's a historical setting, and you're not there. Of course, there's no monsters, there's no fantasy elements of any type. It's a Wild West game. So you're basically dealing with Wild West stuff and human elements and drama, which are fine, and that's fun, and that's why I'm still playing and everything. But I'm not sure with kind of how slow and immersive the game is, if that's going to be enough to carry people like me that aren't normally into this thing throughout the 60+ hour story.
Right.
We'll have to see. I'm playing it again tomorrow morning. I'm going to give it another like good 4 or 5 hour block and kind of see how we're doing, and go from there. But I will say that like there are definitely times when I'm playing this, especially when I'm just looking around the world and seeing all these different things interact with each other organically, that it does like get Witcher 3-esque in terms of just like, this is a really well made quality product. Like this is good. Even if it's not my thing, like this is awesome. And like you were talking about, like looking at some of the environments, and you get to the end of a vista and you can just see everything in front of you. And yeah, it's definitely going to be. And another thing I've been saying on stream, because I get this all the time, is this your game of the year? I can tell you pretty much this is not going to be my game of the year, but I can tell you that there's a large amount of people that said God of War is my game of the year that now have a serious choice to make.
Yes.
Like I think a lot of people felt like God of War was going to be the hands down game of the year, and now with Red Dead 2, it's like I think there's going to be some serious contention between those people about which is the better product overall. So it's good. Good.
The main character I noticed does kind of run like he's got a doo-doo in his britches.
A little bit.
Yes, like
he's
this.
got some like when you're going fast, he's got some like waggle to him. Yeah.
Cat now is awesome, by the way.
Oh yeah. Oh, you said game of the year. It turns into a shit show
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, I don't. I'm with you in the sense that I was thinking about it yesterday. I don't know if I'll fit because apparently it's like a 60-hour main story game with like 100 hours on top of that of side story shit if you want it, which is not a bad thing. I just don't know if I'm interested in, and maybe it's like the Wild West stuff because it is a little, it's slow. I think just because it's a Wild West game, that's kind of what I think. Westerns are just slow in general, and so they captured that, but. I just don't know if I can play this game for 60 hours unless the open world aspect of open world games where just crazy shit starts happening. If that happens enough where there's like weird bugs or and there's clips out there where crazy shit is happening, but it hasn't really occurred too much yet. But if that starts like ramping up, then I can definitely see myself like playing just to see shit go wrong. But apart from that, I don't know much about like all the other systems in the game, so I can't really say if I'm gonna, continue playing it because I got to see what else is out there right now. Not in terms of other games, but in terms of what's in this game. But it does seem like a giant, almost simulation of like the West, which is obviously I think what they were setting out for. So, but yeah, this is kind of what you were talking about when you get too close to stuff and it just doesn't work. I was trying to like put my horse here. And it was just not working until I hit it like just right in that particular area, and that pissed me off.
There's unfortunately lots of little spots like that as you keep going on, especially when you get into item areas that have like lots of activatables, but not on top of each other. If they're right on top of each other, it's kind of nice because you can use your L1 and R1. There's like a little menu you can scroll through at the bottom. But if they're close and not on top of each other, then it can become like you start kind of having to do that little like fight with the controls thing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So just quickly,
99% of the time it's fine though.
What's that, Zeke?
What would you guys say is the absolute worst? Because obviously we can point to the best shit. What's the absolute worst thing about the game?
For me, it's just
the
honestly,
biggest flaw it has.
It's just kind of like it's a little slow, which is a weird thing. Like I think I say that and everyone's like, "Oh, ADD gamer," blah 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 blah. But like the stuff that you do in the beginning of the game is exciting, and then it has like a giant drop off when it opens up to the rest of the world. And I guess at that point, like you're supposed to obviously go and create, those exciting moments for yourself. But there's still, at least where I'm playing, and Code, you can jump in here. I would like for you to jump in here. A lot of the quests that I'm getting are still tutorials, and they're still telling me like, hey, if you do this quest, you get a brush for your horse. So when your horse gets dirty, you can give him a brush and he'll have more stamina because he's not dirty and doesn't have mud all over him. I'll see you back at camp. And, like, that's the quest. Like this particular
motion controls and start like brushing with the motion controls.
Yeah, you just go press a button. Like this quest right here, somewhat of a spoiler. You're getting a bar fight, and then you fight a guy outside, and then you get muddy. And this entire quest is just to say, hey, when you get dirty, you need to go take a bath because other people will think that you're like a dirty person.
And then how to fight in the bar scene.
Yes, yeah. So like, I see what they're doing, but like, how long is this? Like 5 hours in, and like, I'm still getting a little bit of tutorial. It felt a little JRPG-ish to me almost, where there's just like so many things going on in the game, and the quests are designed to like teach me small things. I don't know.
Well, it's like Witcher 3. I mean, Witcher 3 did that kind of stuff. There was stuff in Witcher 3 that you would be getting tutorials like about different signs and stuff like 10 hours into the game. So, I mean, it's more similarities. But the biggest, to answer Zeke's question, the biggest issue for this game for me, by far, that is actually two on the same thing. First, I really wish the controls were more responsive. I wish the world was a bit more responsive. Like, I wish there weren't pickup animations that things just picked up. I wish it was easier to pick up things. I wish that like your character didn't feel quite as loose as he does. That's the big thing. And the second big issue I have is this is the perfect game for PC.
Yeah.
Like it drives me crazy that there's something that has this much work in it, this much love, like, and there's really no reason it's not on PC except that they want to make more money, and that sucks.
100%.
Like, it just sucks. So I mean, I know that that's like a normal issue for games of this and console exclusives and stuff, but as long as it's an issue, it's going to be something I'm not super happy about.
Yeah. Someone
I don't know how else to say it.
Someone pointed out in chat that I didn't really think about this, but like the last open world game I played was Assassin's Creed, which for the most part is like a very active game. Like there's a lot of shit going and it's very fast paced. The fighting is like someone's dead in an instant. Whereas this, it seems the complete opposite. So that might be kind of the issue for me, is that I went from something like very fast paced, something very quick, to something that's not. And so I might just need to adjust. But if I keep playing, it'll be because the world is one fucking gorgeous. Everything in the game seems like it was tuned to the umpteenth degree, and like the Passover and polish of everything is just crazy. People have pointed out, like, if you take your horse to a colder area, its balls shrink. Like, they went crazy in terms of the smallest fucking. I was watching my horse. Just it was very close to the camera where I had it, and like when its left side, when its left legs would move forward, the veins in the muscles would like get tense, and then when it would go to the right side, they would untense, and it's like that type of shit is just fucking crazy to see in video games. Yeah. But the issue for me is the rest of the game, is the bulk of the game, the core of the game. Worth playing. I can't speak to that, but I'm going to try to put a couple more hours into it, and hopefully I'm singing its praises next week, because I want to love the game without a doubt.
So I want to ask you guys in chat to see people. One of the biggest complaints is how slow it is. You're talking about are you talking about like the story, the plot, going places, and that kind of stuff? Or are you talking about controls? Like
a little of everything, I would think. Like,
okay. How does it compare to, like, because I want to compare it to another Rockstar game. How does it compare to GTA?
It's, I mean,
a lot slower.
GTA is a game that takes place in like modern society. So there's cars that, go as fast as cars do. And there's planes and helicopters and rockets and fully automatic guns.
Right. And I'm not talking about stuff you can't compare. I'm saying like the movement, the walking, the, like the getting around.
Yeah.
Like in GTA, even in GTA 5, like you feel like when you're moving the character around that you're kind of like attached to it.
Yeah.
But at least for me in RDR2, it feels more like you've got a puppet on strings. And some people know what I'm talking about, and if you don't, that's totally cool. But there's a difference in that feel. Especially again when you're like navigating small areas and tight spaces.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, like right here, you see I'm just moving forward, and like it's only because I'm not just like sitting there spamming A and just running through everything. But the other part of my brain is like, if I'm running through this fucking bar at light speed spamming A, it honestly takes me out of the game, because everything else around me is like, it's slower. Like it's the West. It's just slower. It's just like the setting. It's the atmosphere of everything in the game. And the second that I like speed up my style of play, it takes me out of that element.
So the base handbot says the characters and movement have a lot of pull to them. Would you like
the
concur
what?
with that?
Repeat that.
They have a lot of pull.
What, the controls?
Yeah, I think so.
The aiming,
characters and movement have a lot of
I'd
pull.
say they have. I think the right way that I would say it is they have a lot of weight to them.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it feels kind of like heavier. A little bit more like you have to be a bit more purposeful with your movements. You're not going to be sitting there. Like, for instance, I haven't tested this, but I have a feeling that if you have the character right there and you like whip the thing back and forth, like unlike a game that's attached to your character where he starts doing this, I feel like in this game that he would just kind of be like,
yes,
like there's more of kind of like a realistic weight to your actions and things like that.
Yeah.
Of course, now I'm going to go and try that in the game, and it's going to be like,
yeah. The aiming too.
But everything else, good.
Well, no, the aiming for like, and I guess it's I guess I can only compare it to the last thing I played on console, which was Call of Duty Blackout, which is a game that's designed around shooting a gun and aiming a gun. And I guess this is in some degree, but this is like very acceleration based in terms of like getting the stick. Like you can lock on kind of like in the last Red Dead, and it'll go from like the second you like pull up your gun, it'll aim at a person to shoot. And then usually in like any other shooter, you like slowly aim up and shoot their head. This one, I haven't quite, because I've only put 5 or 6 hours into it. I haven't quite gotten it down to where I can just like nudge up a little bit and it's an instant headshot. If I nudge up, it fucking like goes up and shoots the moon. Right? Like it's a little bit all over the place. Also, you can take a bath. Also, you can get a deluxe bath and a, well, you'll see what happens in just a second.
It's not what you think.
Yeah.
Not that I know.
Yeah. It's funny
A
how
handy? Like a handy or a
chat was like,
It's not what you think.
chat was like, you should go take a bath and then get a deluxe bath because it's 50 cents. And I fell for it. But yeah.
Tell me it's not Puff Puff. If it's Puff Puff, I'll never ever pick this game up.
No. I mean, you can just.
Good.
Also, I mess up the. Now that I think about it, Rockstar claimed us showing the. So this entire VOD's going to be claimed. Thanks. I just realized that I shouldn't have shown any gameplay footage because they claimed the last thing when we put the trailer there. So, rip this VOD.
Whoops.
What do you think about the RP community? Think they're going to love it?
Yes.
Or they're going to hate it because of the
Yes.
slowness?
I think.
You're gonna love it.
Yeah, when this gets multiplayer, there's so much stuff that like ties into what an RPer would want. That they're just gonna like go crazy with this. I can only imagine 3 or 4 years from now when like PC mods are out there and like there's an RP server, like it's gonna be fucking crazy. It's gonna be really cool.
If they keep all of the like the ambient AI and everything turned on, this could be one of the better sandbox experience we've seen in a long time. Like it's really wild in this game, and I've done this a couple times to just like follow a person to see what they do. Like everyone kind of lives and does their own thing, and sometimes they'll just like walk by another person and start talking to them and stuff, or maybe they'll decide they want to go help that guy build that house. Like it's wild to see what can happen. And you saw JP like just dragging the guy down the street. Can you imagine how often shit like that's going to happen on an RP server? Where you log in and some dude's just dragging another guy down the main street. The guy's like hooting and hollering, and the guy's just
Hey,
like,
how's it going, Bob?
He just turns around, walks over, hits the
Yeah.
guy's face on the ground, which actually knocks him out,
Yeah.
and then keeps going forward.
Yeah.
You can put apparently like, and think about like, of course we don't know what the details are, but we're talking things like being able to put bounties on other people, being able to like hire NPCs to go after folks, like bounty hunters, like lawmen and stuff like that. Like, how is the bounty system going to play into this? It's going to be wild. It's going to be wild.
Yeah. I hope that, come next week, we're back on this show and I'm like, oh, it really picks up. This game's incredible, blah, blah, blah. But it's gonna take some stuff for that to happen.
I've actually like that particular sort of comment where it's like it takes a while to get into, but once blah blah blah. But that first part, you're saying what you're basically saying is like the first part is fucking boring and it sucks.
Which is
not good.
Well, the opening, like the winter portion of the game in the very beginning was great. Like I loved all of that stuff, but it's because I was like, you were going around, you were shooting people, you were doing like a big heist type situation. It felt honestly very GTA 5 to me, because if you remember at the beginning of GTA 5, you're in the snow, you're robbing a bank, there's a getaway. Like it's very similar to that, funny enough. But yeah. And I know that stuff's in the later game, obviously. Like they're not just going to do that once. You're going to be doing it multiple times, but.
And I wasn't like making a comment about this game. It's just that happens quite a bit when you're talking about a movie or you're talking about like another video game. When someone says like it takes a while to get into, and what I hear is like it's fucking boring first off, but it picks up.
Yeah, no, I get it. I understand. Yeah, we'll see. I paid I think this was 50 cents, and I walked into a movie theater, and I stood in front of
Flicker show.
Yeah, and it was about a bear hibernating and why legitimate like why bears hibernate. And so I just stood in front of the projector and the game's good enough tech-wise to like play the rest of the movie on my back and on my head as I'm in the way of the projector, and the tech of that was like incredible. But why the fuck was I watching a 5-minute movie about why bears hibernate with other people in there? I have zero fucking idea. There was no reason for me to be in there. It was not fun. It was not interesting. It was just me. Oh, this is pretty cool, I guess.
Well, this shit was amazing back in the day.
Well,
This
yeah,
is like
but-
they put a fucking picture on the screen. You paid like your week's wage just to watch one of these fucking things.
Yeah, I wanted like here's what I wanted to happen. I wanted people in the audience to be like, "Hey, you're blocking the movie, asshole. Hey, and then like hit me or something, and fucking fight breaks out." But no, they were just like, "Oh,
Well, they probably thought it was part of the movie.
right, standing in the way." Oh.
Someone messed up the flicker show. They put their gun oil on it. Get it off of the screen.
JP is just hating to hate again. Not really. I'm just giving my opinion, man. Like, yeah. If you don't like the opinion,
Don't
then
agree with it. Guess what? It's okay.
yeah, there's not a big deal about that. The world's not going to end if this doesn't win Game of the Year, right? Maybe for you, but for us, it's fine. Yeah, I hope I enjoy it more. I definitely just want to do like dumb shit because GTA 5, the best part of GTA 5 is getting in a car, driving in like the other end of traffic, and just watching shit go fucking bonkers. I hope that is something that can occur in this. I've seen some clips where it does. I just hope that it's some more nonsense occurs. So I'll be playing it more this week. But we have like 4 or 5 minutes, but I have to ask, did you end up finishing Pathfinder?
No, they finally caught up to me, JP. The bugs finally caught up to me. It got to the point where I cleared the end of an act, and like a major event that happens after the act was bugged. I went back to the main city. A bunch of people I killed walked into my throne room and started saying things I hadn't done before. I went back to the town, and they were all alive back there, like pre the end of the chapter, with their entourage, all having no idea that I actually killed the dude that they're telling me to kill. There were a bunch of NPCs around that didn't do anything. None of the vendors were there that were supposed to be there. I actually was going to play Pathfinder after the stream today, but I dropped into the dev Discord, and I kind of told them like, hey, I saw some great patches for this. I'm going to log in today and check it out. And a dev responded and was like, you may want to wait a little bit.
Jeez, okay.
So I think as much as it pains me, the good news about Pathfinder is they were kind of in this fast and furious patching process where they released like 11 patches in 15 days. Let that sink in for a second.
That's a little crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a 100-hour work week plus.
Yeah, they knew themselves that they were kind of overworking it. And they also knew and were very public about the fact that they were fixing things so quickly that they were breaking other things, which they did in some cases. So what they did is with the last big hot fix, which did fix some major issues, unfortunately not all of mine, but it fixed a lot of them. They said, look, guys, we're stopping this frantic patching thing. We're going to do our big 1.1 patch coming up in a week or two. We're going to beta it first. Like, we're actually going to use the beta branches this time and let you test the update and tell us what's wrong and fix it.
Oh, shit.
So what that means is, unfortunately, my Pathfinder playthrough is basically on pause right now. But hopefully when the 1.1 patch comes out, they're saying that like almost all major issues are planning on being addressed in it.
Okay.
So it's probably going to be not until, honestly, God, I don't know, like next month until I can play it with all the stuff this week. But I'm just going to play Thronebreaker after the stream today and probably focus on finishing those up before 76.
Gotcha. We're very short on time, so 1 or 2 words on Thronebreaker. Good?
Thronebreaker's awesome.
Both of you
Yeah.
played it, so.
Yeah, like it. I was concerned that Thronebreaker was just going to be like a loose story based around like standard Gwent things, but instead I got a compelling story with some of the harder choices I've had to make in a long time. In fact, CDPR has ruined Good Guy Co. with this damn game by basically punishing every good decision I make. Like it punishes you hard.
Okay.
Like in some cases, just all negatives for being the good guy, and not only which has been really cool. But it's also like they've basically taken Gwent and turned it into an RPG. So your army is your Gwent cards. and you can actually you have like a mobile base that you can upgrade, and that like increases or in some cases changes what your cards do. You have a character and their equipped weapon is like an ability in the card game, and then they can have items equipped to them, which are all different cards that have like dramatically different effects. Lots of cool synergies, lots of cool tactics, and the kind of RPG progression element makes it very interesting for me to play. What about you, Zeke? How do you
Deck
like it?
building. I enjoyed the shit out of it. Truth be told, I was sponsored to do it. I love card games. I love deck building, and I'm not the hugest fan of The Witcher. I like The Witcher, but this was brought to my attention, and I said, "Oh yeah, let me give it a shot." And I ended up liking it way more than I expected. And the funny, I kept telling people in my chat, it's like they don't pay me to like the game. If that's part of the contract, I won't sign it. So
Right.
I'm not
And
saying
it's
that.
illegal.
I'm not saying that because of money. Also, it's illegal. But it ended up being a lot of fun, and I could see spending a lot of time playing the game because it definitely has some depth to it. You construct and build cards. You like wander around the overworld. My favorite part was not like I didn't as much enjoy the actual Gwent with other like NPCs. I loved the puzzles, the puzzle Gwent. Because I remember back in the day, I would love people like you would get like the card magazine for Magic to see like how much the cards were worth and stuff like that. But in like certain pages, they'd have like here's your Magic puzzle for the day, and they have like two people set up. You have to beat this guy at this turn, or he'll kill you. How do you do it? Like there's a lot of shit like that in Thronebreaker. And I relish that. I looked around the map because they even mark it on your map. Like, this is a puzzle. This is a puzzle. And I would look for those and specifically head towards those because I have so much fun doing those.
Cool. All right. Maybe we'll spend some more time on it. Seems like you guys have a lot of praise to give it next week.
No, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then maybe
I unfortunately probably will not be here next week. I am completely. Well, I'll talk about it during my outro. But yeah.
Gotcha. And then I played more Soul Calibur. Did we talk about Soul Calibur at all? I don't know if we did.
I don't think we.
Yeah, my brief words on it. It's a fighting game. I actually tried to take the fighting game like serious this time, and I was like, I'm gonna get good at fighting games. I went and bought a $200 fucking fight stick. I was like full on into it. And then while I was at TwitchCon, apparently in the character creation, you can take a bunch of shapes that turn your character into a giant fucking cube. So when you go and fight online, you can't see any attack animations, and you're just fighting a giant like cube. And so I was like, I'm good. I'm all right. I'm good. We'll move on to the next. Maybe I'll play the next fighting game. Maybe we'll just jump on that. And that's where I'm at with Soul Calibur. I've not booted it up since.
Cut to JP on the phone getting like, no, it's barely used fight stick.
Yeah.
No, will you take it back, please? I have the receipt.
Yeah, it's fucking nice. I just won't ever use it. It's nice.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Anyways, let's do some shout outs and call it a show. Zeke, as always, we will start with you, good sir.
Sounds good. Thank you guys once again and always for tuning in to our little show here. I had a blast during the TwitchCon Drop Frames Live with Kevin Lynn. He was awesome. If you want to check me out, I will be live shortly after this, and I will be reprising. Now, well, I don't know if reprising is the right word, but I'll be replaying for Halloween tonight Until Dawn. I'm gonna pick it back up again, and you're gonna get all the action that you can handle. So that's what I'm gonna be playing that tonight. And then tomorrow starts my indie week. I've been missing a lot of indie Sundays because of one reason or the other, but I'm going to be doing 5 days of nothing but indie Sundays starting on Thursday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So if you have any game suggestions, head over to my Discord channel. I won't put it in this channel, but you can suggest games that you want to see me play during that week in my Discord under the game suggestions tab. But give me like half an hour, eat some lunch, and then we'll fire it up.
Cool. Co, some shout outs.
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Ko. Nice to meet you if I haven't yet. As always, big thanks to JP and Zeke, not only for an awesome weekend at TwitchCon with the live drop frames and everything else we did, but also for the show today. Always a good time. So I'm going to be totally blunt with you guys. I am currently treading water in terms of games. It has been like 3 weeks that I basically had like 4+ games I'm working on, and it's just getting to be too much. So like I told JP, I'm actually like skipping lunch for the next 2 weeks, probably going to be doing extended streams, and I'm going to be trying to wrap up these games before Fallout 76. So as such, you may not see me here next week. I may be charging through either Thronebreaker or Pathfinder or RDR or whatever I'm playing at the time, instead of Drop Frames, trying to get ready. And then the week after that is actually the release day of Fallout 76. So I don't know what our plans are for Drop Frames are. I'm hoping maybe that I can jump in with these boys and maybe do a Drop Frames games in 76 because that'll be the release day. But yeah, it's just like with TwitchCon and everything, I'm so behind and I have to get caught up and just get these things done. So if I don't see you next week, I definitely hope to see you the week after that. And then I'm thinking after that, we should be back on a normal schedule, hopefully until the next kid. So yeah, appreciate y'all's patience with me. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and see you next time I see you.
Hopefully,
Oh, also quick note, Thronebreaker after the stream, for anyone that wants to check that game out.
hopefully until the next kid. I like it. I like it. By the way, I'm sure you guys have already gotten spammed, especially Code. Did you guys see Henry Cavill as Geralt?
Do you want to play it real quick?
No, because it's Netflix and it'll get claimed.
Oh,
but
good point. I got to admit,
I'm not. He looks like
you know,
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
well, you know how we were talking about how characters have like weight and like presence?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this guy has nailed the presence of Geralt yet. Like it just, I don't know, man. I don't know. If you're wondering, by the way, just go to the Netflix Twitter. It's on the Netflix Twitter. I really hope he's good, and I think he could pull it off if he does it right. But like he's gonna have to nail the voice and kind of like the Geraltisms to pull this one out, man. And it honestly looked like kind of like a kid walking out in adult shoes when I saw it. When a cute kid puts on adult shoes and stomps around.
Yeah.
I always get Superman mixed up with Jesus, like those two actors, because one's Caviezel and one's Cavill or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, I could see him as Witcher, and then I looked it up and went, oh, it's Superman. Oh.
See, here's the easy joke. Look, he's already played a super boring character like Superman, so he's just going to be able to play Geralt, no problem. You know,
you got to play super boring really well, though. It has to be a believable super boring. Okay.
Yeah.
Like
sure.
You have to really be apathetic towards everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, and there's ammunition. I got in a little back and forth with her about Witcher, about Geralt, how much I hate him.
Yeah, that's always fun. Anyways,
I just realized I'm like 1 pixel off today. I'm surprised no one said anything about that. Good job, chat.
Oh. I was gonna anyways, I guess you are. Anyways, we're out. We're done. Me and Zeke will be probably back next week. Maybe we'll get Jericho to join us or something like that.
Oh, Jericho Besco? Okay,
Jericho Besco, yeah. And
Confirmed by Co.
I know he's a big fan of Red Dead, so maybe we'll bring him on and get some balance to the the apparent hate that we have for that game. But we're out of here for now. So we'll see you next week for more Drop Frames. Bye. And before we wrap up this VOD here on YouTube, if you want to check out the MP3 version of Drop Frames, feel free to go check us out on iTunes or where podcasts are available. Simply search Dropped Frames. And if you really want to go that extra mile, leave a review, leave a like, leave a heart, leave a circle, whatever all those platforms use. It helps grow the show and supports us without spending a dime, except your time. So I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching Drop Frames. We'll see you next time.